You've said already 6 times by now.
Look casual, eh?
Yeah, right.
Be casual, eh?
Built some technology that became
Hello, mesdames et messieurs, who will not sing. And they were very happy to have a list of a talk they missed. And I just want to notice that here on your left side you have a Statue of Liberty, in case you believe it's in New York. The Statue of Liberty, as you know, by Bartholdi, is actually right here in Paris. And this is very fitting for an international meeting like ours. So please have a look at the Statue of Liberty and remember that 60 years ago we were liberated by the Allies. And we are very proud of this transatlantic connection. Even though it has been difficult in the last years, we still believe in the transatlantic connection and in the Allies and in the Statue of Liberty. Thank you very much. No one gets the thought. You son find that very funny. It makes no difference. No one understands what I'm saying. Doesn't work. Does it work there? Testing? Do you hear me there at the end? Does it work there now at the end? Does it work? I'm sorry for the people who hear me very well. They are not the problem. The point is the one at the two ends of a boat. So it's absolutely no use telling me you hear me well. The point is which goes don't hear me.
silly. It's mistaken.
So most of the people will not get the speeches at all. Ladies and gentlemen, those who hear me and those who don't hear me are supposed to stay now silent for a few minutes. I am Bruno Latour, the president of the Forest, and I am with my sister here, the president of the East Society. We have several orders of duty. The first one, which is a great pleasure for me, is to thank the organizer, or most of the organizer, of this extraordinary meeting, and then Sally will thank the others one for this extraordinary meeting. As you know, it's a joint meeting. First, I want to thank the group around Chantal Iannarelli, whom you saw constantly during this meeting, and who did everything under the organization and the administration of this very complex meeting, made even more complex by the number. I also thank our director, the director of the École du Mines, who is right at the end of the aft of his boat, Benoît Leguet, who is our host. He is always a bit worried that the school is better known for sociology of science than for the rest of the activity of the school, so you should not applaud too much. And especially in the school, we were amazed by the dedication of the communication service, and Dominique Deville and Daniel Gosselin and Simone Paita especially, with an incredible enthusiasm and dynamism, help us a lot in putting this meeting together, finding the press, and finding the sponsors who are responsible for this meeting, including actually a lot of people you didn't see, the people from the photocopying, the people in charge of the audiovisual like Jean Douan, and no sound anymore, no sound anymore, yes. And William Benichou. Of course, as a president, I have to thank the people of my own group, from the CSI, and Christelle Gramalia, with whom you had almost a daily contact for a few months. I'm glad that you can applaud her. Cécile Méadel, whom you saw constantly during this meeting, and Catherine Lucas, whom you also saw constantly doing and going from back and forth for the meeting. And it's thanks to her and to them largely that the meeting went so smoothly. I also want special thanks to our new collaborator at the CSI, Frédéric Vergniaud, who did an amazing work with all the website, all of the statistics, and the whole little glitches during the audiovisual for the meeting. So Frédéric, we are very happy to have you now on board here. Now I'm sorry to say that you wrote too many papers and you all wanted to give a paper, which I hope is the last time you try to all give papers, because that gives an enormous work to the program committee. And the program committee was made, if you remember, of Roland Ball, Nick Brown, Michel Calon, David Kranz, Christelle Gramalia, myself, Don Mackenzie. Did Don Mackenzie did anything? No. Claire Maris, Hélène Mialet, Philippe Mustar, and Joe Nunes, Volumina Rabeisora, Stefan Sperling, and Jane Sumerton. Jane did something, yes. Judy Waxman, and of course Sally Watt and Rania Zeiss. They did an enormous work. If you find yourself in the wrong session, it's not their fault, it's your fault, you are too many. I forgot to thank someone, but you know, I guess, whom I forgot to thank, and I wanted to let my sister society, Sally Watt, the privilege of thanking the last person I did not thank. Sally, this is your turn, but don't speak Dutch, please.
I won't speak Dutch. I did try and learn Norwegian during dinner, but I didn't quite manage that. Being president of East is an enormously wonderful job that is about to become vacant because my term soon ends. So if anyone would like to kind of take it up, please kind of talk to me later. But the reason it's such a wonderful job is that all you have to do as president of East is find some wonderful group of people, some wonderful group of people who will organize the conference for you. And then you show up and you kind of make nice speeches and it's all very good. Within East, we've long thought there should be a conference in Paris, not only because Paris is such a beautiful city, as you can see, but because it's such an important site of STS work. But once it was known that Bruno would be the president of 4S during our joint conference year, the momentum for Paris became overwhelming. So I have the great pleasure of adding my thanks to Bruno's, to the CSI group at the École de Mines and 4S under Bruno's presidency for their enormous effort in making this happen. Now we don't have prizes within East, but we do like to acknowledge superhuman efforts. First of all, I'd like to thank the outgoing members of East Council, which is Nadezhda Gapanenko, Joao Nunez, Ari Rip, Ragnar Zeiss, and Jeff Cooper. This is the moment to clap. Other individuals that I would like to single out. And I would like these people to come up and join me. And first of all, forgive my pronunciation, now that I speak Dutch, I don't speak French anymore, but could Catherine Lucas of CSI please come and say hello? Catherine has done an enormous amount of work that I think has been largely invisible to many of you, but that doesn't make it any less valuable. So I hope she's sort of on her way. She's on her way. It's a big boat. The acoustics are lousy.
The boat is coming. Catherine, where are you?
She's coming. Be patient. We checked that, Rob.
It was moving in a minute.
Okay, she's on her way, I hope. Oh yes. The second individual I would like to thank, and this is a kind of personal thanks rather than an East thanks, is my fellow president. Yeah, I'm not finished. In the past 18 months, I've come to Paris a couple of times to do things in preparing for the conference, and on both occasions, Bruno has very kindly Thank you, Bruno. Bruno has very kindly done things for me, like hold the microphone, and he's also given me 2 books that he, of course, has written. And I thought, what can I give Bruno in return? I thought, photocopies of PDF files just wasn't quite the same. So I'm going to now do something very Dutch. I have a present here that is wrapped, but I'm more or less going to tell you what's in it. Something to help you write a new book, and something to help you when you come to Amsterdam in the coming months as the Spinoza Professor, which those of us who live in Amsterdam are very much looking forward to.
Thank you very much. It's very tough.
But the final person
Silence, silence, silence. That's the important part of the speech. Silence, silence, silence.
Thank you for that. Madeleine Preach has done an enormous amount of work for, I think, 24 hours a day for the past 18 months, and I really have no words to express my thanks to Madeleine. And
And this is in the name of the forest, a special gift from the whole community of forests, and especially from the council. Madeleine, many thanks. We live together, if I can say that, and we have for as many years we have been in the seaside together. It's a great pleasure to give you this gift. Thank you very much, Sally. We are now entering the second part, which is around the dessert question, which is the award of the Forest Society. The Forest likes awards, and there are plenty of them. But first, I want to thank the people who have left the council, as my sister Sally just did for East. I think it's about the 20th time they are thanked for their enormous work and enthusiasm. So I will spare them another round of thanks. But we certainly want to welcome in the council the new members who have been elected, namely Joseph Damit, Wally Varma and Sergio Sismondo. And for the three who left, I will just say bye-bye and have a lot of free time. We are also very pleased to welcome Lee Starr as our new president-elect. I think Lee is somewhere. And I hope she will be a great president like I am. But none of the new president will be as good as Weberbiker has been. So now we are going to give the Nicholas Mullins Award, and I will ask Yuko Fujigaki to come to the floor and to present the award to Jennifer Fishman. Where is Jennifer Fishman? Very good.
Okay. First, let me introduce the process and reason behind the selection of this award. For the 2004 award, we received 17 papers submitted by September 1st, 2003. As the first round, through a thorough reading of these 17 papers, each member of the Nicholas Mullins Committee nominated 4 papers respectively. Then, 4 papers that were nominated by more than 2 committee members were selected in the second round. The committee members then discussed the strength and weakness of these 4 papers, which were brought to a second vote. The second vote decided the winner of this year. The winner is Jennifer Fishman. The title of her paper is Manufacturing Desire, the Commodification of Female Sexual Dysfunction. Using an ethnographical approach of an example of female sexual dysfunction, this paper deals with the clinical trial researchers who play an integral role in the commercialism, science, clinical medicine, pharmaceutical industry, and governmental regulatory institutions, in the process of new drugs constituting a new market. As such, this process cannot be explained by the pure space of science as separate knowledge. Based on her analysis of the consensus diagnostic development panels constituting a continuing medical education conference and mass media, including website developed by researchers, she reveals a new role of clinical trial researchers. The paper describes the process of consensus building for the definition of disease and for diagnostic criteria, constituted process of technology as market, as well as the constituted process of technology and their users. Furthermore, through case analysis of CME, continuing medical education, she explained the intricate orchestration of the performance of academic researchers as marketers, as well as educators, for clinicians that play key factors for developing potential users. In addition to these findings, by using media analysis, including website analysis, this paper reveals several behaviors of clinical trial researchers in enhancing the public marketing of drugs by offering their original clinical trial data. Although this data was disclosed on the website, they had not been subjected to the scrutiny of peer review to be published, nor had they been submitted to the regulatory agency. Thus, these data had potential negative impact on the researcher's potential reputation, but these disclosure of medical knowledge are welcomed by the public. Based on this analysis, the author carefully indicates that democracy distribution of knowledge is at least in part a marketing strategy. In this way, the paper is beautifully written and theoretically innovative, not only in the facet of adding commercial market practice to technology studies using the example of female sexual dysfunction, but also in the facet of problematizing the ethics of clinical trial researchers who stand in the chasm left between conventional medical ethics and growing entrepreneurialism and commercialism in medicine. Okay, therefore, on the behalf of the other committee members, Gary Downey and Benta Justice, I hereby give the Mary Towers to Jennifer Fishman. Okay, Jennifer. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very great honor. You want to hold it for me? No, okay. Thank you very much. This is really wonderful. 4S has been an important intellectual home for me and was all throughout graduate school. In fact, I presented my very first paper at 4S in Halifax many years ago now. And so thank you very much.
Bravo! It's not because you don't hear anything, but you don't applaud, of course. So, although you don't hear everything, I just hear when I say applaud, please. Many thanks for the Mullin Prize winner. Now, the second prize, which is very important for the society, which is, as you know, the Carson Prize, will be given by Jane Summerton, who is unfortunately leaving the council and whom we thank enormously for enormous work. Jane.
Bruno! I will speak very loudly. Can you hear me?
You understand that not only there is no sound, but there is no light at the place where we give the speeches.
We will try anyway, friends and colleagues. The Rachel Carson Prize is awarded annually for a book-length work of strong social or political relevance in the area of social studies of science and technology. Nominations that provide a new perspective to the field, including, for example, post-colonialist, feminist, or minority voice, are especially encouraged. You have to do a better job here, Bruno. Sorry. The Carson Prize is one of the distinguished and highly competitive awards made by the Society. Each year, anywhere from 60 to 80 books are submitted for consideration by a prize committee, which this year has consisted of Ulrike Felt, Stephen Hilgarter, and myself. The winner of the 2004 Rachel Carson Prize is Jean M. Langford for her book Fluent Bodies, Ayurvedic Remedies for Post-Colonial Imbalance, Duke University Press, 2002. Lang.
Applause, applause, applause.
Now, do you want to know about the book, or should I stop here? Okay. Langford's book is a rich ethnographic exploration of the cultural politics of medicine as expressed in the healing practice Ayurveda in contemporary India. Langford insightfully traces the maneuvers and strategies of local Ayurvedic medicine in reinventing Ayurvedic medicine in its encounters with, and specifically its problematic in framing within, modern forms of Western medical knowledge. Wait, there's still more. This is a good book. The story reveals the tensions and struggles, the rifts and ruptures and disjunctures that this encounter entails. The encounter with modernity. In the interweaving of practices, texts, hospitals, and educational institutions that constitute contemporary Ayurveda, Langford shows that Ayurvedic doctors contest and subvert modernist concepts of knowledge and medicine, also the contained body, and indeed the nation state itself. Langford convincingly argues that Ayurvedic, as an important sign of Indian cultural identity, not only attends to the poor health of individual bodies, but also acts as a force for healing the body politic, that is, the wounds of colonialism. As Gary Downey noted earlier today, Langford's account genuinely problematizes the modern episteme itself. This is fundamentally important. I ask you to join me in welcoming to our community Jean Langford, who has not previously been an active part of this community. Jean, we congratulate you on receiving this award, and we look forward to many more fruitful conversations in future.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you very much. After that introduction to my book, I think I'd like to see the movie. I'm very, very pleased to accept this award. I hadn't anticipated STS as an audience for my book, so I'm very, very happy. I've learned a great deal from STS thinkers over the years, although probably not nearly enough. I'm also very happy because the Ayurvedic practitioners with whom I spent time in India for the purposes of creating this book would not be particularly thrilled were I receiving an award for contribution to post-colonial studies or anthropology, but when they hear that I've received an award for a contribution to science studies, they will be really, really excited because science is very, very dear to their hearts. So thank you for allowing me to give them this gift. Thanks.
Again. Thank you very much. It's a great pride for us to have people who are not members of the STS community who are enlarging our vision. And now I will ask Steve Epstein to stand up in order to give a Ludwig Fleck Prize Award. Steve, this is the floor.
Thank you very much, Bruno. I don't think that I can match Jane Somerton's cadence or intonation, but I will do my best. The Ludwig Fleck Prize is awarded annually to the best book in the area of science and technology studies. For this year's prize, books published in the years 2000, 2001, and 2002 were eligible. There were 67 books that were nominated, 41 that were screened by members of the selection committee, 12 finalists were selected, and these dozen books were read by all members of the committee, which I want to tell you consisted of Hugh Gusterson, Sarah Franklin, Viva Biker, and myself. I can tell you honestly that selecting a single prize recipient from those final 12 books, hugely interesting and impressive books on a very wide range of subjects, was no easy task at all. In the end, though, the committee agreed that the most deserving book for the Fleck Prize is The Body Multiple, Ontology and Medical Practice by Annemarie Moll, published by Judy.
Bravo to Annemarie Moll.
What kind of book is The Body Multiple? Moll herself variously describes it as a study in empirical philosophy, as an ethnography, and as praxeography. She draws on a wide variety of fields in the writing of it. On one level, it's an exemplary ethnographic study of the disease of atherosclerosis in a Dutch hospital. On another level, it's a very complex rumination on theoretical debates in STS and elsewhere, and a programmatic claim about conducting ethnographies in scientific practice. While avoiding narrow methodological prescriptions, Moll clearly intends this to be an exemplary text. Here's how we do it, she seems to be saying, and indeed the final chapter begins with the declaration, it can be done. It is possible to write an ethnography of disease. The operative word here is practice, and for Moll, the study of practice is the root to the recognition of the multiplicity suggested by the book's title. By engaging in a praxeography, we learn that in different sites, different atheroscleroses are enacted. For those who believe, as I do, that the minimum qualification of a prize-winning book is that it be a good read, The Body Multiple does not disappoint. Moll adopts a straightforward and graceful style in which sometimes difficult ideas are explicated through simple declarative sentences. I'm especially envious of her capacity to write so skillfully in a language other than the one that is native to her, a labor that's not without costs of various kinds. As Moll notes in the preface, feeling obliged, quote, to write in a foreign tongue not only brings a lot of extra hard work, but also helps to widen the gap between embodied and inscribed author, unquote. In one very specific and consequential way, the writing of The Body Multiple is interestingly different from any other book I've ever read. The top 2/3 of each page consists of the main text of the book. The bottom third of each page consists of what she calls the subtext, which runs in a continuous stream from the beginning of each chapter to the end. These substitute for, in a very deliberate fashion, what we might normally think of as the kind of footnote infrastructure of the book. In the text, one learns about diagnoses, treatments, examinations, dissections. In the subtext, one reads about Latour, Strathern, Haraway, Butler, Goffman, Foucault, Mouffe, and Soja, to name only a few. I wonder what the typesetter at Duke University Press thought about this narrative strategy. But writing two parallel texts, the books, the text and the subtext, is no mere gimmick here. Moll does recognize that the presence of text and subtext may present challenges for the reader. And in the book's preface, she suggests that readers who regularly surf between television channels may find this book easier to read than those who don't. Speaking of television, in case of any of my own graduate students are present this evening, I confess a certain inclination to voice the obligatory warning message from U.S. television stunt shows, don't try this at home. But while I confess that I'm not necessarily prepared to give up on footnotes, I did find Moll's approach refreshing, provocative, and intriguing. It's of a piece with Moll's attempt throughout to shake the reader out of familiar and well-conditioned patterns of thought. As Moll observes on the very last page, presenting the body multiple as the reality we live in is not a solution to a problem, but a way of challenging a host of intellectual reflexes. This study does not try to chase away doubt, but seeks instead to raise it. Without a final conclusion, one may still be partial. Open endings do not imply immobilization. Please join me in congratulating the author of The Body Multiple, Annemarie Moll.
I have a right to kiss her because she came to SSI 15 years ago almost, right?
20 years ago. I had prepared a little speech to thank you all for participating in writing this book, especially my Dutch colleagues who kept the Dutch institutions of academia alive while I was being parasitic on them and hiding and writing my book. But I also want to thank everybody here in the field, but the rest of what I say I will not say, because somehow this boat completely exemplifies the fact that speech is not transportable everywhere, and that technology is quite specific to where it works and it doesn't work, and somehow it feels like not everything we usually say in other places transports to here. So I'll just thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. We are very proud. She forgot a check and she forgot a plate. That's very Anne-Marie, I have to say. And now I will ask Rob Agendick to stand up and be counted in order to give our most prestigious award, for this time not for a book, but for our life award. And where is, yes, he is. He is going to give an allocation for the Bernal Prize.
Okay, thank you, Bruno. I must say, like Anne-Marie and many of you, I'm a little confused and puzzled about the situation here. Actually, I've been already for a couple of days from the moment on that Bruno sent me a message about how we were doing with this procedure and added this one sentence: see to it that you're in the right boat.
He's often in the wrong boat, that's why I mentioned that.
And then when I came to Paris, it became clear to me that there would be two boats, which I didn't know. And then it was suggested that after handing over the Bernal Prize, we should jump ship to go into the other boat and repeat the ceremony there. Now, these sort of occasions, as you know, are a sort of public proof in themselves. And maybe this is a good moment to look around you and to think about the way we have orchestrated here this occasion of public proof. The public proof in the form of a prize, the John Desmond Bernal Prize, for contributions to the field over a prolonged period of time. And this form of public proof, as we heard yesterday, should not take too long. And one of the difficulties of doing that with the Bernal Prize is what is very long, because it is a prize for lifetime achievements in the field, and that means that normally the authors have done so much that you're always too short. Yet, on the other hand, it should be relatively short also with respect to your patience. And that's a completely different matter, of course. So in order to compromise between the two, I would like to tell you that the Bernal Prize Committee, which is a sort of secret society, which does not accept applications, but which consists of a number of old hats in this society who know everybody else and then discuss among themselves who should get the prize. We have decided on your behalf to give the prize to Sheila Jazanov. And as you understand, we've given her the prize for all that she's done over a period of 25 years after she was first nominated at Cornell as a research assistant at that institution. Now, since that time, she has published 11 books, among which a number of edited volumes. She has contributed more than 100 articles to scholarly journals all around the field, but also well beyond it. On top of that, she has done all sorts of other things and all sorts of other publications and commentaries in the intellectual field. Yet the Desmond Bernal Prize, John Desmond Bernal Prize, is a prize which is both for intellectual achievements as well as for institutional contributions, and she has actually done both. In the intellectual field, she has done enormously important work by actually opening up the field, the legal field, the field of the law for STS type of analysis, and especially the interface between science and technology and the law has been a field which was not a very popular one and considered a very appropriate one to do STS analysis. And I think one of the major contributions of Sheila is that she has opened up that enormous terrain for our sort of analysis, for constructive analysis of what's going on. One of the things she's done, she has enriched the field with a number of notions and concepts around which research has been organized and has been initiated. And one of the concepts is the concept of regulated science, to point to this area of research which has its own dynamic and which has emerged in between science, the law and politics. But she's also introduced other notions very much in line with the general intellectual drive in this field, like civic epistemology and the co-production of science and social order. She has done all that in a very special way, and that's another feature which I would like to remind you of in research in which the comparative element has always been important. From a very first book about chemical regulations in the United States and Europe, on to the book that's coming out next year on the development of biotechnology. And in all these books, she has had a focus on how the social order and scientific knowledge are co-producing society, and how notions like culture and nature, how they develop in response and in association with these changing notions. There's a very special reason for her focus on comparative work, as she has always insisted that we should also give ample place in our analysis to the voices from the South, to the people from Asia, the people from Latin America, the people from Africa, who are so easily excluded in a society in which the majority comes from Europe, and especially the United Kingdom, and from the United States of America. Of course, she's in a special position to do that, as she was born in India, educated in the United States, studied in Germany, and stayed for longer periods of time in the United Kingdom and other European countries. So she is especially positioned to be able to both have an intimate understanding of what goes on in these societies, as well able to distance herself from the boat she finds herself in, as she no doubt does at this very moment. So, apart from all these intellectual endeavors, she has done all sorts of things within our societies, as she has organized an enormous amount of things. She has been in all sorts of committees, but she's also been a very active representative in the world outside this boat, outside STS. She has done all sorts of things for AAAS, for international communities, and in doing so she has managed to keep collegial and open dialogues with scientists around the field, with policymakers around the world, with NGO people, with environmentalists, and that's a major achievement in itself, as in doing so she's never given up. She's never given up her own intellectual commitments and her own political commitments. Okay, I'm good. Okay. Now, you have to be short with these sort of public proofs, as I already said, because one of the things that you should do in such a public proof is to state excellence, to give prize, and that will be the way to establish publicly that somebody is indeed what we claim her to be, as one of the people that we should honor with the prize as a proof of all their contribution to this society. And as a final element in this proof, I would like you to join, if you agree with all this, in an applause for Sheila Jazanov.
Well, thank you very much. The only register in which it's possible to respond to all that is irony, but irony doesn't grow well from the mouth of a loudspeaker. The only two things I could think of that would ironicize the moment adequately, one of them I will do, the other I won't. The one I will do is mention to you my favorite association of the week that I learned the name of just the other day. It's called Swift Boat Veterans for Truth. And it is the organization that is launching an attack on John Kerry, even at this moment. But I think we should all claim honorary membership in that organization after we leave this particular swift boat in a few minutes. The other thing I could do to ironicize would be to continue playing language games and to speak to you in Bengali. But the last time I tried that in company back among my friends and colleagues at Cornell, one of my dearest friends said, "Oh, I just heard Sheila speaking gibberish." So I'd like you maybe to carry away some thoughts about why it's possible to speak Dutch and French and English and even Greek, but not Bengali, without being accused of speaking gibberish. And maybe that will tie in with one or two of the things that Rob Hagendijk just said. For the rest, this is about public proofs, and I think I'll give the best possible public proof of my own wisdom in the face of the circumstances of this book by thanking you straight from the heart for one of the awards that, well, for the award that I can think of that could possibly have meant a really great amount to me, namely an award from 4S. Thank you very much, and anything else I have to say, you can read about in one of the journals of the field.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sheila. Thank you very much for every one of you. Thank you again to Madeleine Akrish. And I think I said in Atlanta something that Madeleine said I should not have said, which is the food next year will be better in Paris. And I think it was true that the food was better in Paris, but next year it will be even better because it will be in Pasadena. And I'd like Marianne Delat to come for 1 minute to say hello to you and welcome for the next meeting, which will be unfortunately without East. It will be a meeting of 4S only, without philosopher, without historian, without the East, but it will be run by Marianne Delat, and that's a great advantage. The great problem is she has to find a bateau mouche in Pasadena, but I'm sure she will manage to find the equivalent. Marianne, you have the last word for this evening.
We have no water. But please come anyway, because it will be a great experiment and a wonderful party, and I'll see you all there. 1,300 people, right?